All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Eric, and welcome to today's information session from Neotech Academy. And a moment ago, I was asking everyone before we started recording what their ideal career path would be, what their ideal job situation would be. And I was seeing things such as, getting paid what I'm worth for a change, which is a big thing. Flexibility, being able to work from home as opposed to just going into the office, spending all this money on gas. You think about all the money we spend on gas, especially the last few years, how it's gone up like everything has so tremendously. But I think what really stood out to me was the number of folks who were typing into the chat, freedom. And you know what? And like I was saying to the folks who were tuned in earlier, freedom really is an inherent human desire. We're going to be talking about a lot of things today, but I think what we're really going to be talking about is freedom, because that's what it really boils down to if you think about it. So, what are we going to accomplish today in our information session? We're going to give you some background on who Neotech is. Okay. We'll give you some information on our IT, on the IT industry. Also, we have I don't want to sound dramatic on this, but it really is a life-changing boot camp that we offer. I want you to write down this date, write down April 21st, and you'll hear us say this date many times throughout today's presentation. Write down April 21st. That's going to be the start date of our next boot camp, and that's designed to accelerate your learning. We're also going to be bringing on one of our graduates, Omar, and he'll be telling you about his experience, and he'll be taking your questions as well. So it's going to be action-packed and fun-filled. Now, we're going to need about an hour and I'm going to say an hour and 15 minutes of your time. So, and really that's not asking for a whole lot, because you really have to get as much information as you possibly can in order to make really an educated choice as to whether or not a career in IT and being educated by Neotech Academy is for you. So here's what I want you to do. As a sign of your commitment to being here for the next hour and 15 minutes, do me a favor, guys. Go ahead and write the word yes or the letter Y. I'll know what you mean in the chat, just as your indication that, yes, I'm going to be here for the next hour and 15 minutes to get all of the information that I need to see if this whole thing makes any kind of sense for me. So I'm getting commitment from Lilia, Ethan, Justin, Tiffany. Awesome. Too many names to even read off. Tremendous, guys. Thank you so much. Now, just so we're clear, you're not necessarily making a financial commitment today, and we're just giving you some information, okay? However, we do have a special offer for those of you who do like what you see and hear today, which we'll get into a little bit later. So I promise you, we will get into the tuition, we'll get into the money back guarantee at the end. We have to do this logically and in order, because if I just throw out numbers, because some of you were asking about this already, if I just throw out numbers without any context as to what's included at that price, it won't make any sense to you. It's just like searching for a house and only searching by the price. I bought a bunch of houses in my day. I want to know more than just the price. I want to know where it's located, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what neighborhood is it in. So you need all this information first, but we'll go through everything. We won't leave any stone unturned, guys. I promise you today. All right. So let's jump into this. Some of the fastest growing occupations are in IT. For the next generation, everything is going to be tech related. Jobs are available in all major cities. But you know what? Remote is still available as well. Many of our students have received a remote job offer. Now here's the thing. Working remotely is not a guarantee. Some companies are asking folks to come back into the office, maybe like a hybrid role. But you know what? If you are required to work in an office, a lot of companies nowadays, you probably have seen videos on this, or you've seen movies, TV shows, whatever. A lot of these tech companies have some pretty, nice, pretty cool work environments and benefits other than just working from home. A lot of them offer, free lunches. Well, I guess except for X, right? Except for Twitter, they kind of took away the free lunches, But a lot of the companies offer free lunches. They give you gym memberships, generous vacation time, the higher compensation. You get the 401ks, the insurance. I would argue this, IT careers really check a lot of boxes for most people. And, during the height of COVID, when many parts of the world were essentially shut down, the IT industry thrived. Why? Because there were already a multitude of remote jobs available. COVID only increased those opportunities. I would say this, for lack of a better way of putting it, the one silver lining, if you want to say that, well, with COVID, with the pandemic, was that it taught people, I think, two major things. Number one, tomorrow is not guaranteed. How many of you would agree with that? And it made people realize that they can't rely on their company or the government to take care of them. They really have to have a plan B. And a career in IT has become that plan B for a lot of people around the world. And you know what? For many people also, it's become their plan A. Now, let's talk about language. Let's talk about background, your education. You're going to love this part, all right? And we're going to say this a few times today. And by the way, I say today, this is a live presentation. It is the 16th of March, just after 1 p.m. East Coast time. I say that because I've got some people asking if this is a live presentation, and it is. But don't worry if you're a recent immigrant to North America and you're like, I don't really speak English. I don't speak it all that well. That's okay. Your language is not an issue. Don't worry about your background. I don't care if you work as a valet, you're parking cars, you work as a bartender, or you're working maybe another white collar type career. We're seeing a lot of nurses, a lot of teachers that I've noticed in the past year or so. It doesn't really matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what your education is either. A lot of people mistakenly think, well, I've got to have a 4-year degree or I've got to have a master's degree to get started in IT. No. A lot of employers, what they really care about is, can I do the job? Can you do the job? So all of these things that a lot of people are concerned about really are unrelated. Now, I'm going to ask you in the chat to type this in. What career are you in right now? And how long have you been there? And are you looking to make a career change possibly? So if you would just type into the chat what career you're in right now and how long have you been doing it. And I'm going to read off a few of these. So let's see, Danielle, HR for 6 years. Bashir, a cook for 5 years. Mona, going so faster. Front-end developer. Shreya, healthcare for 6 years. Nanking, MBA student, healthcare. A lot of healthcare. I'm telling you, every single time we do one of these, a lot of healthcare. Thought I saw a teacher a moment ago. Finance for 5 years. Retail for 14 years. Patricia. Awesome, awesome. So it doesn't matter what your background is. Don't worry about English not being your first language. It doesn't matter what your degree is in or if you don't even have a degree. Okay. Now, a lot of people, what they do is, and thanks for responding, by the way, I appreciate your feedback. A lot of people, when they first started in IT, what they do is they get involved in what's referred to as software testing. Now, how many of you have heard of software testing? You just heard the term. Maybe you're not really sure what they do. It sounds self-explanatory, but maybe you're not really sure exactly what happens. But how many of you have heard that term, software tester or QA, quality assurance? Just type into the chat if you've heard that, yes or no. And let's talk about that. What will you actually be doing as a software tester? Well, this is a very rhetorical question, but I'll ask the question anyway. How many of you have ever used Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, Uber, anything like that? Everybody here has, right? Of course. Now, if you've ever used one of those applications, you know what a good application that works is like. You use it and it functions properly, correct? So, when you make a purchase on the app or post something, it works. So that's what you bring with you. That's what you bring to the table. You've used technology. And then we give you some technical knowledge and hands-on expertise on top of that through our boot camp. You put it all together and you learn with our help how to do software testing. But I want you to know this, a software tester's job is vitally important because you are charged with making sure the software functions properly and it's free of defects. Because think about it, if you're the company, do you want to launch a flawed product to the public and just get killed with bad reviews? I mean, think of all the money it would cost you. That's where you come in, okay? It's your job to help prevent that. Your job is to help find the bugs, find the defects. But what is a bug? What is a defect? It's any flaw or any incorrect thing in a software program. It could be something really small, like a typo. It could be the wrong color scheme on the website. It can be something big, like every time you try to use it, it crashes. It can be anywhere in that range. So what QA, quality assurance software testers do is they find the problems, they find the errors before the customers do. Does that make sense? Just let me know if that makes sense. Your job is to find the bugs before the customers do. So just think about how important that is. That's why you're paid so well for it. It's such an important job. Now, a couple of things. You might want to ask this question, or you might be thinking this, well, how will I know what to check for? You'll get what's referred to as the requirements. That's just an industry term. So you'll have a list of the requirements, and it's like a checklist. You'll simply go through and make sure that everything is working properly. Now, here's the good news. You don't have to fix it. Aren't you glad about that? Aren't you glad to hear that? I know I'm glad to hear that. You know, you don't have to worry about fixing it. That's the developer's job. Your job is just to find the problem. That's it. So the salaries, they're higher than the national average. Most tech companies are seeking software testers. I mean, you can look for yourself. Don't do it right now. But if you went to Indeed.com, if you went to Glass, wherever you want to go, wherever you go, whatever job board you use, you'll see these opportunities are all across the country and probably quite a few in your area where you're living with very good beginning pay, which we'll talk about in just a second. So what we did was we created a boot camp that teaches people from scratch on how to become competent in and have a career in IT. And as I said earlier, guys, many successful software testers are not actually college graduates, as that is not a requirement in many cases. Employers just want to know if you can do the job, which is what we train you to do. So we train you in this skill set and even provide hands-on training so that, you know, hands-on expertise, really experience during the boot camp, so that when you're asked in the interview, have you done this or that, you can respond yes. Now, guys, I want you to really think about this for a second, because right now, most of you don't have any experience. But the reason we call it a boot camp is because we're going to give you the actual real-world experience on actual projects to put on your CV, your resume. So imagine where you are now and where you'll be at the end of the boot camp. And to me, it's pretty exciting. It's very exciting. So the training is provided via Zoom. You can interact with your instructors in real time. Our lead instructor and one of our founders is with us, which you'll be hearing from him in just a little bit. And that makes it super convenient because you're not commuting, to and from an office, to a school. Our school, everything is being done, through Zoom. It's all virtual. So you can attend live, you can watch the replays. And keep in mind, we have a proven process which can enable you to become competent and really proficient in the IT field. And we also offer this, which we'll talk about later, guys, a money-back guarantee. So this entire process is essentially risk-free. And then on top of that, we provide actual career placement to potentially get you the job of your dreams. That's how I like to look at it. And so this could be a job, a career that winds up being in software development, engineer and test, as it's referred to as SDET. This is a shortened version. It might be QA, it might be software testing. As you go through the boot camp, what we're going to do is we're going to work with you, and you'll be able to see which career path winds up making the most sense for you. Course Report, some of you have probably heard of them. They're a leading authority on IT education. They rated our QA testing bootcamp the best in 2023. You can look that up yourself. Again, if you haven't done so, write down this date, guys, April 21st. That's the start of our 6-month accelerated course where you will get real experience on real projects. So April 21st, 6-month accelerated course. That then segues into your new career path, and notice where the starting salaries are. And again, you can confirm all this yourself. Plus, we have one of our students who will be on here in just a second. Anywhere from 80 to 130 for a software tester just starting out in many cases, So after starting your career as a software tester, because you will be exposed to so many tools and languages throughout our program, you can then use your new career as a software tester really as a springboard. So you're not going to be stuck there. I know what you're thinking that. Well, do I have a ceiling? Am I just going to be a software tester and that's it? No. This might segue into becoming a software developer, maybe a PM, an API tester. And by the way, I want to show you some terms today, like Scrum Master, things like that. A lot of you probably haven't heard of these terms. What's an ETL tester? What does API mean, you might be asking? Don't worry about that. Everybody was in the same situation as you when they first started out. I always look at it like this. In high school, if you ever took calculus, I remember when I first took calculus, I was like, man, why am I taking this? It's, you know, and it really seemed challenging at first. But then at the second semester, how did you feel about things you were being exposed to at the beginning of the course? You were probably like, you know what, I got that down. And it's the same way here. So we throw a lot of terms at you, things that you might not be familiar with, that might be Greek to you, so to speak, but that's okay. Everybody's in the same boat. We hold your hand along the way. We approach it as though you don't really know much of anything. And it's not an insult, don't take it the wrong way, but we want you to learn from scratch the right way how to get your career in IT going. I mean, you'll learn more in 6 months than it would take people years to learn. Again, that's why we call it a boot camp. If you've ever had military training like I did years ago, in boot camp, what's the purpose of boot camp? You learn a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time, and it's all hands-on. So that when the bullets are flying, you know exactly what to do. So that's what we're going to give you real projects to work on in real time. And we'll talk more about how that works in just a little bit. So folks, what I want to do now is introduce to you one of our co-founders of Neotech Academy and lead instructor, Ilian. And he's going to tell you a little bit about himself and go into more detail about our boot camp.
Hey, Eric, thank you. Thank you. So let me share my screen. Yeah, so my name is Elion Limanay, and I am one of the co-founders of Neotech Academy, and also I'm the lead instructor. So I'm going to talk today about the course that we offer, and then the tools that you learn during the bootcamp, and also we're going to invite one of our alumni. He's going to talk about his experience. You will be able to ask your questions to him. I'll direct your questions to him so that he can tell about his experience and everything. And then after I'm done with my presentation, then Ahmet also will talk about the job placement part of the bootcamp, which is the part of our bootcamp. So what do we offer, right? What is the course flow in our bootcamp? So first of all, you learn about manual testing. So what is manual testing? Of course, there are some terminologies that we're going to talk about them right now, and you don't need to understand 100%, but at least for people who are curious, who want to do some research about the tools that we teach and everything, that's why we're talking about the tools, okay? So manual testing. So as Eric mentioned, that there are a lot of softwares there. So of course, we're talking about, let's say, a web application, which is a software on the web. And let's take it as an example, even Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Bank of America, right? All these things that are online are applications. So what is the job of a software tester? The job of a software tester is to make sure that the quality of the product that our company has created is as expected. So if something goes wrong, it's better for us so that our, let's say, tester finds in the software before the update is done. If he finds an error, a problem or something, he reports it to the team, they fix the problem, and then they do they do the update. So manual testing is doing all these things manually. Of course, we teach about what is manual testing. How do you report when there is a problem and stuff like that. And of course, even with only manual testing, you can work as a manual tester in the industry. The problem is that the salaries are low, and there are not a lot of job openings, because as of right now, more and more companies are going into automation, right, into coding. So the second part that we teach, right, we teach programming language. So we teach Java because we want you to do these things with automation, with codes, right, with let's say with the script. So you learn about the programming language, you learn about that in 3 months, and then after that we also learn about testing tools. So there are some testing tools that we teach to you because you need them when you go, right, when you work in the in the industry. So there is Selenium, TestNG, Cucumber, and these tools which allow you to interact with the browser, to take the screenshot, to send some commands to the browser, and then if something goes wrong, you can create reports and share it with the team. So after you learn these things, guys, you can work as front-end software tester. Front-end software tester is the tester which tests whatever the user sees, whatever the client see, right? So that is the front-end software tester. But of course, we don't stop that, because we want our students to learn even more. We teach about database and API. So database and API is the back part of the software. So whatever you see as a user, it's called the front end, but all these things that you're doing there, they are stored in the back, which is called the database. And the database and API, right? Those are the tools that should also work correctly. Otherwise, there will be errors, there will be problems in the there will be problems in the software. So you learn also about database, what it is, how to test it. You learn about API, what it is, how to test it. And at the end of this one, guys, you can also apply for jobs as backend tester. So manual tester, front-end tester, backend tester. And if you know both backend and front end, you also are considered as full stack tester. So in that case, you can also look for jobs that they need both the skills, the front-end testing and back-end testing. So, and then as I said, we learn all these things because we want you to be exposed to as many jobs as possible. During the bootcamp and also towards the end, we also prepare you for the interviews, because when you go there, of course, the companies, before they hire you, they make interviews. They want to make sure that you have those skills, that you know those tools that you're talking about, and we prepare you for the interviews. So we do mock interviews with the students one by one. We also prepare you, how to talk, how to sit, where to apply, how to apply. All these things, are explained. There is a part of the course, which is soft skills, which we teach these parts there in the bootcamp. So not only technical, but also behavior, or we call them soft skills. How to prepare the resume, and also information about the market. So after you're done, guys, of course, also we are going to help you to find the job. We're going to help you to, as I said, be exposed to as many jobs as possible, and also help you with the recruiters, help you how to talk to them, because sometimes the recruiters, they try to lowball, to give you a low price, or sometimes they are trying to ask information from you, but maybe you shouldn't give those information. Maybe they can ask your social security and stuff. So we have a job placement team which will help you also about this information, so that you're not making mistakes, how to fill the forms and stuff like that. Okay, so one more time. So these are the tools. There are a lot of tools here, guys, but of course I don't want you to be scared, but on the other hand, also I want you to know about what are the tools that you're going to learn, and what are the things that you are going to the skills that you're going to gain at the end of the bootcamp. So Java is the programming language, is one of the strongest programming languages, and of course there are a lot of other programming languages. But if you know Java, which is one of the, let's say, one of the commonly used, if you go to a company that is using a different programming language, still is not a problem. They may hire you, because as long as you know Java, you can quickly learn other languages, and also as long as you have some skills, you definitely can let's say gain some other more skills. Okay, so first 3 months we learn, technically we learn about Java programming languages. We start from the beginning. Even if you don't have any knowledge at the beginning, step by step you're going to be able to learn Java and coding in 3 months. Of course, when we say about Java, whatever you need as a software tester. Okay, and then Selenium, I mentioned this one earlier, is one of the tools which allows you to interact with the browser. So you open the Chrome browser, and then, allows you to send some commands there, to send some text, and to click on the buttons and on the links there. And of course, we're going to spend 1 month with Selenium. After that, we're going to teach you about TestNG and Cucumber. TestNG and Cucumber are the tools that are used to create those reports, let's say, so how many tests passed, how many tests failed, which one failed, when it failed, did you take a screenshot or stuff like that, so that you can report to the team if something went wrong, and then they can they have the information that they can fix the problem that happened. So that is called as I said, TestNG and Cucumber. Besides that, I talked about backend, so that's why you're going to learn about MySQL, which is a database, how to connect to the database, how to test the database. You're going to learn about Postman and Rest Assured, which is API, right? How to use how to consume the APIs and how to test the APIs. And you're going to learn about Maven, Git, Jenkins, and all these other tools which will help you with these things there. Okay, because in the industry, right, all these things that we meant, for example, Jira, right, is one of the tools that we teach there. Is one of the tools that is used, most commonly used in the industry for splitting the tasks between the team members, right? Because when you're working on a project, you're going to work with other people. That's why you need to know how to, right, how to communicate with other people, how to get your own task, how to assign, right, to test to each other. So again, one more time. So what do we offer? I'm going to go one by one, right? So as we said, right, they're going to be real, like, of course, classes, right? Classes are live, but besides the classes, we give homework, we give projects, we give quizzes to see where you are, right? And of course, this bootcamp is for adults. So you need to make sure that you're following yourself. Of course, we're going to try to track you to see if you're on track. But this is, right, this is, you are, let's say, adults. You are people who should have responsibility for yourself to be learning. So, as I said, real projects in a group to simulate the real actual work environment that happens in the real. So I also going to mention, so maybe it's also here, we also have mentors. Those are people which will be assigned to a group of 10 students, which will help those during this process, right? They'll meet once a week. They'll ask questions they'll be answering questions to you about the market, about the industry, right? Those questions that are not technical, but that are behavioral. And also they're going to do the project together with the student to help them, right? Make sure that they're splitting the tasks, how it is done, right? Similar to how it is done in the real job. So as I said, we're going to be collaborating with other people in the team. You're going to learn all these methods, all these strategies, all the tools that are currently used in the technology as of right now, that are trends as of right now. As I mentioned, all the classes, right, all the courses are online. So yeah, they can, right, they're going to be through Zoom, as we are doing right now. And then you're going to watch from wherever you are. You don't need to come to a class or somewhere. Also, we are going to record all the classes, and also we're going to share them with the students, so that, of course, there's a platform where they can see all the classes, all the notes, and everything that is done during the class. So if, let's say, if you want to review the class, or maybe if you skip the class because you were doing something, right, you had an emergency or something and you couldn't watch the class, everything will be recorded and it will be shared with you so that you can rewatch them later. As I mentioned about our mentorship program, so we're going to have mentors which will be dedicated to small groups to talk about the industry, to answer the questions that they have, and also to help them during their group project to manage their group project. So as I mentioned, also we're going to be preparing you for the market. So we're going to help you with the resume, how to put projects in your resume, right? So you're going to prepare your resume, you're going to send it to our specialist. They will go over it. They'll make some adjustment. They'll help you with the resume, how to prepare for the market, where to prepare, where to apply, right, for jobs and everything. All those information will be shared with you, and we're going to constantly be tracking you and constantly be pushing you to apply for the jobs. So at the end, right, of course, we have a lot of alumni that are working right now. Maybe if there's a job opening there in their company or different stuff, right, or recruiters and our network that we have, we're going to try to expose you to different jobs to make sure that you are able to find the job, okay? And also, right, and the last one, as I said, our experts. So we have a team of experts which help you with the market. So even when you get an offer, sometimes our students, they get 2 or 3 offers. Which one is better? Or how can I negotiate with my offer that I'm getting, right? So I don't know, maybe you're gonna be moving to a different place and stuff like that. So all these things can be negotiated. You're gonna learn how to talk about these questions that we have. So this is our schedule, our mandatory schedule that the students need to be, let's say, joining, that need to be watching. So on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 3 hours during the weekdays. 3 hours on Tuesday, 3 hours on Wednesday, 3 hours on Thursday, 9 hours. There will be the weekday classes. During the weekend, on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you are in a different time zone, guys, make sure that all these times are Eastern time. So I can say New York, New Jersey time, right? If you are in a different time zone, make sure that you do your own calculations to make let's say maybe if you are in California, then it will be from 4 to 7, and then this class will be from 8 to 12, right? Something like that. So make sure you know your times. Why we have done the schedule like this? Because there are a lot of people who might be working, right? And then also doing the boot camp, so they can continue working during the boot camp. Of course, if it's possible, so that they can reduce their working hours, so that they can join the classes live. And of course, to study even more, it will be better. But of course, these are the classes. If you cannot join these classes, guys, it's still okay, because as I mentioned, all the classes will be recorded and will be shared with you. Of course, it is suggested for you to be joining live if it's possible, but if not, then definitely you can, right? Definitely you can rewatch them later. So this is the schedule, right? And then before I invite our alumni, he'll share his experience and everything. I just want to make sure, guys, that you are, you know the schedule, you know everything before you decide about what you're trying to do, and make sure that you commit your time, you dedicate your time, so that you are going to, right? Because this is a life-changing career, but of course, for your life to be changing, it needs your, right, yourself to be able to study, to be able to push yourself to learn the tools, because otherwise, of course, if not, right, if you don't study, then it's not possible for you to find a job at the end. Everything will be shared with you guys, right? The video will be shared with you at the end, so don't worry about it. So let me invite our alumni. Omar, can you please, let's say, raise your hand so that we can invite you? Okay, let me stop sharing. Hi, Mer, how are you doing?
Oh, yeah. Hi, Elian. How are you? Hello.
Good.
It's nice to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. So as I mentioned earlier, please share your experience about, right, how the bootcamp was, the difficulties that you had and stuff and challenges. And then after that, you found the job and whatever, right, you're doing as of right now as a software tester. And then the questions that I don't get from them, I'm going to try to direct them to you.
Sure. Okay. So first of all, it's so nice to be with you guys, and I am really excited to be again at Neotech, I guess, at home, I feel, really. And thank you for all of you for all your help at the time as well. So I was a student 3 batches ago, I believe. I got in by the beginning of 2023. So at the time, I was just a manager at a small business. I remember working really busy shifts, which I really did not have much time even to study for this bootcamp, but I made time and everything, and then made everything happen too. So like it was again busy times, lots of I mean yeah at the I'm so sorry, I'm excited. So then it was actually Ihsan, one of my friends, who told me to actually join and see, he was seeing what kind of troubles I was going through with my earlier job and everything. And we joined. It was again, we started with Java classes and different, yeah, Elian, if you can ask me questions, I guess it will be easier. I'm really
Yeah, don't worry. So by the way, guys, if you have any questions for Amer, you can definitely ask them in the chat section of the Zoom, so that I can direct them to him. So one of the questions is, during, for example, that I can ask before they start asking questions, during the bootcamp, were you working during the bootcamp? Were you also having your job?
Yes, I was working. So again, it was really busy times. I was a manager at a cleaning company where I was working from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., even longer than that. So like after 6 p.m., right after, maybe I eat something and everything for an hour, and then we started our classes at like 7 p.m., where it took like 3 hours each time, lots of things to learn, but it was really fun.
So Definitely. They started asking questions. So before I start, just make sure that you give short answers, as short as possible, so you don't need to give long answers. So you're okay with it. Okay. So how much studying did you put for weekly basis, let's say?
For weekly basis, I did actually join, all the classes and everything. Again, I did not have much time because of my, working shifts and everything. But I would say that I would at least like beyond the classes that I've joined, I would say around like 5 hours a week. It's not much again, but like just to go over what I have learned with Elian and Saba.
And the
Yeah,
teachers.
but again, I wouldn't say that I have worked much, but I try to make sure that whatever Elian or Saba was teaching us, I try to make sure that I actually got to learn them. Because like by the once you miss the class, you miss the topic as well. And then once you miss the topic, I realize after the boot camp, you got to get back to it, because it's just whatever they teach you here at the boot camp, it's just like the very core of it, I guess. Like everything is just needed to know. So like at the end of the boot camp, I actually had to give my own time, just a little bit, not again so much time since I've learned, but like to just to go back and go over some of the classes that I may not as be good at the time. Yeah.
Okay. So you promised me that you're gonna give short answers. Let me see if you keep your promise. Okay.
But,
So did Neotech help you for the job placement?
yes, I mean they did everything that they could, from let's say from resume building to finding different companies and different even the alumni that help us from. I really would say that the coding classes was really really good. Again, Ilian and Sabat, they were really experienced instructors that I really would say that I liked. Yes.
Perfect. So how many interviews did you do?
How many interviews did I do? I would say I did about like 30 interviews, but I have applied so many different jobs, so many different companies. But like, let's say I've come to 30 different interviews with serious.
Okay. What about how many jobs did you apply?
How many jobs did I apply? It should be, let's see.
I mean, of course, rough number, not an exact number, but like roughly.
It should be around like 1,000 to 1,500.
Yeah.
Maybe
So a lot of companies that don't respond, and then when they respond, you start with the interview. So you probably went to the first round, second round, and third round, stuff like that. And then did you get one offer at the end, or maybe multiple offers?
I've got two. I mean, one offer. I would say yes. It could have been the second, but I would say one. Yeah.
Okay. So how long did it take for you to take an offer?
It took about like 3 months. Yes, around 3 months after the boot camp.
Okay. And then is your, like, of course, generally like about the salary, is the salary range as the one that we mentioned in the slides, or what is, I mean, if you can give a range of your salary?
Sure. I mean, I'll be honest, like it's 110K.
Okay, that's good. So generally people, they say is above 100 and stuff like that, but thank you for giving the exact number. And what about the courses? Are the courses very intense? Are they very difficult?
The course, Neotech courses. Yeah, I mean, the top, they were really new to me. I mean, I'm a political science major at the time. So like I did not actually have any background in IT. But I would say that the courses, the content is something that like that we're not really that I did not know of in the past. But like once I get the gist of it, it's really quite easy. I mean, it's at the end of the day, once they teach you the very essentials, I really would say that I am doing the same thing every day, and it's not really rocket science at all. Once again you learn what you're supposed to do, it's again every time it's the same. And Yeah, it's
So
great.
another one is maybe it was easy for you because you had a IT background. Maybe did you have an IT background?
I did not have an IT background. Again, I
Oh,
was a political science major. Yeah, it was all by
okay.
myself studying,
Okay.
whatever you
Okay.
taught.
And then how was your general? You talked about your general experience, so that's I'm not gonna go through that question again. What about now? Are you working remote or on site?
Yes, remotely.
Remotely, fully remotely. And then what about your schedule? Is it like do you work during the weekends or during nights? So what is the schedule?
Sure. So like it's really assignment based. I would say that may depend on the project, but like still, it's I think the IT jobs is just like that. But like the assignment based, so like it's normally from 10 to 6 p.m. we do work, but like it's at times, let's say I don't work for like 4 hours, but there'll be time after hours that I could actually make up for it. It's always under my hand the computer. Whenever I get online, I can just do my work, and just keep it. So what I do sometimes is I just do my work from earlier and then just post them when at the time comes. So like it's not really, when I compare it to my old job and this, like it's really nothing. Like I have worked so much before I got into the QA. Now that it's just a delight. I really would say that, comparing to other jobs,
So
it's
you've
just
been working for how many months now, or
um,
how
it
long?
has been 1.5 years.
One
Yeah.
and a half year.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they're asking about the age, but I mean, I don't think that we need to expose his age, but the thing is, for the bootcamp guys, we have a minimum at least 20 years old, because when you apply for the jobs, right? I mean, in the companies, I don't think that they can hire young people. So of course there is an age limit. So what about your job? Do you like your job so far?
I really do love my job. I mean, what I do, I do find it really interesting. Like it's really some fun work what we are actually doing comparing to other jobs I had again. And that once and it's not something that you just make money out of it. That every day I really do think that with the works that I'm doing, I do think that I'm learning something new, and that I'm getting really stable also on the on IT for every other things as well.
So another question is about the experience. So let's say when you start working, do you compare yourself with people that have 5 to 10 years of experience? Do they really know a lot of you, or did you learn a lot during the boot camp? So what is the difference?
Sure. So I
Let me ask the question like this: were you able to let's say be able to show that you have those skills as an experienced let's say tester?
Sure. So let me first say that when it wasn't Java, by the way, when I actually got into, so it was a new programming language that I needed to learn. All the tools were actually different than what we have learned at the bootcamp. So, but again, this is not a problem as long as you know one. The company is fine, whatever. But like when I got in, so my manager is also my QA manager. She has been there for about 5 years, I believe. But I would say that I wouldn't want to like sound, but I do the same as she does. I guess like she's not even doing as much as being the manager. Like she has her own stuff, but like again, after 5 years, once I joined the company, it has been about a year or so, but people would have even maybe think that like um, that they may prefer that I do the test. Even I don't want to go far as much, but
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but the thing is, that's why she hired you, so that you do the job, right? just kidding. I'm just kidding.
manual tester in the beginning. So like that's why I guess like once we join, they do see that we do know coding, and that like not everyone in this in IT that you will see, even though people worked for long times, they do not know as much, because it's at the end of the day, again, it's the same thing that you're doing maybe every day. So like they did not really take the time to improve themselves on different tools, on the tools that Elion is teaching, which is, up-to-date tools, or that the things that you were supposed to learn. They learned it within the company. That's why it's really that once you join, you feel comfortable with the information that Neotech is teaching you.
So the things that you mentioned, let me just say, one of the things is that even though when you go to a company, they were using different tools, still they hired you and you were able to learn those tools quickly and to start using them. So that was one of the things. And another one is that because about the tools. So like a lot of people, even though they've been working for years, they are doing manual, right, testing, let's say. But a lot of companies, they are switching from manual testing. So they want to hire people who can do automation so that they can switch into automation. So those are in general. So there are a lot of questions. So about the applications, right? About the offers and stuff. So let me ask you the last one, and then I'm going to close it with it. So what about your let's say interview questions that you have? Were there more technical or more behavioral questions?
Okay. So it really there is not a single answer to this. Like it's really both. I would say, like at some interviews it's gonna be more technical. At both, some will be more behavioral. But what I would say for the process, that like it's, I mean, I wouldn't call it a luck, but I wouldn't call it a destiny. But like at the end of the day, like even if you do so much, you will get the job. I'm not saying, but it's definitely that you will get the job. But like it's not really that what it's not an indicator. So like at the end, again, like I've studied for interviews, I've done really great on many of them, but at the end of the interviews they told me that I couldn't get it. But like but I was, let's say, I was really sure, not sure, but I thought that I really done great. But for this company that I've got into, I did not even, like, I didn't do much. I wasn't expecting that, they were just going to give me a call right away, and then they say me, like, I just got in. It wasn't really that I did a lot of coding on the interviews or anything as well. They didn't even ask, like, most of the questions that most interviews that I was asked. But like it was really easy process. For the other ones it was really harder, but I thought I could get in, not this one. So I'm sorry I talk a lot, but
yeah, I understand. So let me explain what you said with a kind of a joke. You said that sometimes it's also luck, and that's okay, because the company in front of you, depending what they're looking for, depending how needy they are for the person to start the job. So I can explain this one. Prince, right, which now is king, he applied for the job to be a king 70 years ago, but his mom lived so long, so he couldn't become the king. So he waited for the job for years. But now the new prince, maybe his dad will die pretty fast, and it will be easy for him to find a job, just as a joke. But one last question. Let me ask you this. It's okay.
Just to say this though, to be more clear, I've showed more of my knowledge at some interviews, but I've showed just a little at the company that I have interviewed, that I'm working for right now, and it turned out to be maybe one of the best companies that I could actually work for as well. So it's not, you don't really know, but I know that there is a lot of jobs that you could land it. Yes.
Yeah, I got it. So what about, last question is this one. How secure you feel? So job security, how secure you feel that you're not going to lose the job, or you're going to be able to find another job whenever you let's say, leave this one?
I mean, I really do feel secure, actually, because this job is not actually, I mean, it is at some points it's easy, it's so much better conditions to work with and everything, but this job is not like a joke at the same time as well. So like I'm working at a fintech where we work, with big numbers and everything. So like and there are tickets which I test, And with my testing, we do actually really find, big bug, it doesn't have to be big bugs, but like, some bugs, which would normally give lots of issues and problems. But like, we do get to find them as QAs. And this is really important because otherwise there has been times and that you let the bug go and then you see the results. So like they really depend on you as QA to do a really great job. And once you do that, they need you and you feel secure. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I wasn't so
No,
clear.
it's okay. The last one is, I mean, not question, but what would be your advice for the participant listening to the webinar? So if you have any advice for them.
Yeah, sure. I would say that take the classes as much as seriously as you can. So like, because again, it's the very core of everything. You do need them once you actually graduate. You do. I mean, you might. It always comes up. If it's not gonna come up at one interview, it's gonna come up at the second. So like, once you actually go through your classes, do not miss one. Even if you miss one, you have to make up for that one. So by the end of the seminar, by the end of the course, so that you would be ready. Otherwise, you'll have to take time, like as I did, like for about maybe 3 weeks to 4 weeks, even just studying by myself, even more. But if you be ready by the end, you won't need to waste that time.
Thank you very much for coming, Omer. It was very nice for you answering all the questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you again. Yeah, bye.
Okay. Yes, Ahmet.
Thank you so much, Omer. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, Eric. This was a great presentation. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ahmet. I'm one of the instructors here at Niyot Academy. I'm also working as a software tester actively right now. And I'm going to talk about a little bit more from the placement perspective. Let me share my screen. All right, here we go. So you already, I mean, this is just a quick recap. So you already know how you're going to be learning our tools, our like the skills that needed as a software tester. It's going to be live classes. How you're going to go with the office hours. You will have many individual projects, and on top of it, what is really important, you will have group projects. We will be going over homeworks, tasks, some like coding assignments. So we will do whatever you need to to make it perfect for you to understand every tool, everything that you have learned, especially Java. Obviously, we will have a final assessment, which is a mock interview for you to sign off from our program so that you can be placed in the job market. And this is how it's going to go. But as you know, this program is not just for you to learn something on the side. This is actually a career change program. So what we are aiming here is a job placement, which means that we want you to be placed in a high-paying IT job as a software tester. So for that, once again, we will have a mock interviews. And this mock interviews, there's no time or like amount limitation here. You can have as many as you want. We will help you to build your resume with like tailor fit to your background. And we will have many sessions and show you how to apply for jobs, when to apply for jobs, and like how to negotiate for the job offers, which I'm going to get to that in a minute. We will give you an extensive knowledge on market, how it works, which companies are asking what type of questions and everything. As Ömer mentioned, our alumni, like Ömer is just one of them, and this is like we have a great alumni network. Like all of our family members, that's what I like to call, are really helpful with each other, because this is how it works, and you will have access to that obviously throughout the process, which again we will be helping you with the salary negotiations, getting the best compensation possible from the offer that you have received from any companies out there. Okay, so this is how it goes. This is the average right now. You can also do your own research on Glassdoor. Obviously, this fluctuates. Though, like sometimes this goes to up all over the 120s, 130s. Even like I guess our highest offer was around 175, which I'll show you guys. But of course, the starting point is like 80, 85K. So this is depending on how well you perform in the location that you're in. the offers can kind of change. So let's get to our offer letters, which would be the direct representation of how the job market is looking right now, right? I'm going to be switching my screen to here. So this is one of the job offers we had. This is, again, 120,000 annually, like 10K per month before taxes. I guess it's a good salary, right? Obviously, there are like some incentives about the bonuses and everything. And is this the last offer? No. Again, this is the part that we get into and like help you. Not every job like gives you, like, this is another one which offers $55 per hour. Again, there are some benefits there that we can negotiate and we will help you there. This is another one, 90K. And I remember this one specifically because like when we have received this, we were in the process of negotiating, and our student told me that, you know, I don't want to really risk it with the negotiation because this directly doubles my salary. Actually, it's a little bit more than the double. So like, I'm good. You know what I mean? I was like, no, let's do it. And I guess as far as I remember, we're able to get like a signing bonus. So we have many different offers like this one per hour rate, and we will be guiding you. Yeah, this is the offer that I told you about, which is the high end of it. And depending on the location, obviously changes. So I would want you to build your expectations for 175. But, you know, in average, these are the different offers that you see, and we have many more of that right here. Let me go back to the presentation. So on top of, you know, getting a high salary, you're also going to be working for Fortune 500 companies, the companies that you like everybody knows. Does that necessarily mean a good thing? I mean, it depends. I myself, I work for a Fortune 500 company too, and I work for smaller companies too. There are like some benefits, but that's why we are here to help you with the placement team, with our mentors. We will be guiding you throughout the process, so that, you know, you're never lost and like you are always on track. So that's it. I want to give microphone back to Eric. I'm going to stop sharing, but I'll be looking for, and we will have a Q&A session. So don't worry, we will answer all of your questions. Here you go, Eric.
All right, thank you so much, Ahmet. So just to do kind of a quick little recap here, education, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't have a 4-year degree. It doesn't matter if you maybe have a degree, but it's in something that is totally unrelated to IT. That's not an issue either. Your background, your age doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're in your 50s, if you're in your 60s, whatever the case may be. That's fine as well. All that really matters is it's a desire to make a change. So think about how a pilot also, I was thinking about this earlier when I was listening to our interview there with Omer. Think about how a pilot or a surgeon or anyone in a specialized career gets trained. You know, how do they learn? Well, they learn by getting educated, of course, getting training, but then on top of that, they get hands-on experience. It's called experiential learning. Some of you probably heard about this. Studies show it's the most effective way to learn anything. You know, training, then hands-on training, experiential learning. That's what we believe in, and that's how we teach. Folks, you should be seeing my screen that says average cost of education. I'm assuming that you can see that. Let me ask you this. How many of you know someone who got a degree and they don't even work in that field? And as a matter of fact, they never worked in that field. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody relate to that? Where you know someone who worked got educated in a certain field, but never really worked in that field, and they spent tens of thousands of dollars. And I have family who did that. And a lot of you are saying in the chat right now, that's me. Fassery is saying that's her husband. Lamia is saying same here. Jacqueline, I'm a journalist, but now work as a teacher. So a lot of you know what I'm talking about. And then you look at the cost of education nowadays, especially here in the US, it's gotten so out of hand. The average, and you can research all this yourself, some of you probably already know about this, that the average cost of college tuition these days, when you throw in all the extras such as room, board, supplies, other expenses, you're looking at on average over $36,000 a year. And then, you know, private universities, they can be, you know, 50, 60, 70 plus $1,000 a year. It's crazy, isn't it? So you've spent in the end over $200,000. in some cases. Now, look, I get it. You can get a scholarship. You can get some grants. A lot of people have student loan debt. We have over $1 trillion in student loan debt here in the US. But here's the thing. You spend all that time, which is big, 4 years or more, you spend all that money, and do they even help you with job placement? You might not even get a job afterwards. So a lot of people are seeking employment in their field, and they can't even find a job in that field after all the time and the money that they spent. And if you think about it, the University of Michigan, just to throw out some examples, I'm not trying to indict these institutions, but Michigan or Georgetown or Princeton, it doesn't matter. They're not incentivized to help you land that first job. When it comes to boot camps, the average boot camp is over $13,000, which is unattainable for a lot of people. So here's what we've done to help people get their career going. And it really is exciting. I mean, I love hearing these testimonials from folks who had, they didn't have the background and now they're doing what they really want to do. So to help people get started, here's what we've done. We have the tuition broken down into 2 parts. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how that works, okay? So the first is what we will simply call the regular tuition, which is only $4,900. We have an early bird discount, which is an extra $200 off, and the deadline on that is April the 1st. So if you feel like this is something that you want to do, enroll by April the 1st, you get the early bird discount, an extra $200 off. We also offer something that's available just for today. Write down this code, folks. Write down webinar $50 off. Webinar $50 off. That's an extra $50 off, available just for today for all of you attending our webinar. We'll give you an extra $50 off. That would then bring the tuition down to $46.50. And it's not done all at once, so don't worry about that. Keep in mind, this entire process is risk-free for you because we're taking all the risk, which I'll tell you more about how that works in just a second. So your tuition winds up being paid in 7 monthly installments of $665 a month. Now, it's in our best interest to not just train you, but to actually help you find a job after the boot camp, as Ahmet was just talking about a moment ago with our placement. It's not a guarantee of a job, but we will help you do the best we can to help you to land that first job. So rather than you investing a large amount up front, like most boot camps, the average one is over $13,000, we offer a small tuition paid over time, and then the balance is paid by a placement fee. So here's how that works. We would love if everyone on the webinar right now became one of our students and ultimately a graduate, but a boot camp and ultimately, a boot camp can be cost prohibitive for some folks. We understand that. So to help out with the cost of the tuition, we came up with what I think is a very creative way to make it attainable for most people. So instead of being responsible for the entire tuition up front, we partner up with you. You pay a portion of the tuition, and then we help you find a job after graduation. But here's the thing. You only pay a one-time placement fee of 85% of just your first month's salary. Not the whole year, just the first month's salary. And even that is split up into 4 months. So again, rather than paying your entire bootcamp investment up front, we're partnering up with you. So now we're on the same side of the table, whereas before, or with a lot of companies out there, you're on separate sides of the table. You're on separate ends. So we're on the same side of the table with you because we're helping you actually land that first IT job. So would you agree then that it's in our best interest to not just train you, but help you land that first job? So of course, we're incentivized to get you hired as quickly as possible. Not a guarantee, but again, it's our job to help you land that first job as quickly as possible. That winds up being most appropriate for you. You might even be eligible for other discounts on top of that. Now, we'll show you how to do this in a little bit. If you do decide that you want to, investigate everything further, we have some links for you to fill out. Put in your name, your email, and so forth, your contact information. So you have to put a referral's name in there. If you do that, you get an extra discount. And the tuition just keeps coming down because if you can enroll with groups of 2, each student gets $150 off. That's over and above what I just mentioned to you. Groups of 3, each student gets $200 off. If it winds up being groups of 4 or more, contact us. and we'll let you know what we can work out for you as far as that goes. Now, why do we encourage groups? Well, groups are great because you can encourage each other. You can motivate each other. You can help solve problems, do the homework together, maybe even, help with a job opportunity. Like Ahmet was saying a moment ago, we really are a family here. That's how we look at it. We're here to help each other out. It's kind of like going to the gym with your gym buddy. Now, here's a big question. What if I change my mind? Well, there's no deposit. There's no application fee. I mean, you don't pay anything until the boot camp actually kicks off. So, I mean, you start paying when the classes begin. You don't start paying before, and you can cancel for free anytime until the boot camp starts on April 21st. Now, what we also offer, all of this is in writing, a 30-day money-back guarantee. So it's 100% refund if you decide to leave anytime until May 21st. 100% money-back guarantee if you decide to leave anytime until May 21st. So you really can't go wrong. That's why we keep saying it really winds up being risk-free on your part. We're taking a lot of the risk. So we make it really easy to get a hold of us. You can schedule a call by going to neotech.live /call. You can also go to neotechacademy.com /apply. Just simply fill it out. We make it super easy for you. And we'll actually walk you through that in just a minute here. You simply fill out the form, make mention of your referral name if you have one, put in the discount code that I gave you a moment ago, and I'll show you what that is. We'll show you what that is again in just a few minutes. This will take you all of about 1 minute to fill out that form. And a member of our admissions team will get back with you as soon as possible. So guys, don't pass up this opportunity. I encourage you to schedule a call due to the high call volume that we normally get. That's our preferred contact method to schedule that call. And that's done by you see on the screen there, neotech.live /call. We are actively working on opening up some more slots. If a slot isn't available tomorrow or very soon, don't worry about that. You'll still get the same discounts that we talked about today. It's not your fault that a slot wasn't available right away. Or just email us and we'll get back with you as soon as we can, set up a time to speak with you and answer all your questions. So why join Neotech? Let's do a quick comparison here, folks. So you've got different choices. You've got us. You've got self-taught. Well, the reason why I laugh at self-taught is people are by nature procrastinators. And I'm sure a lot of you probably agree with that. I have a friend, I always like to joke about this. He's been saying for the last 15, 20 years I've known him that he's going to read War and Peace. I think he's still on page 2. So not only that, if you're self-taught, will you know exactly what to learn? Are you going to be keeping up with industry trends, market, new market trends? If you go to university, how much time will it take you? Well, yeah, it could be 4 years or more. Online courses, you're self-paced. With us, it's 6 months. Like I was saying earlier, you're learning more in 6 months. That's why we call it a boot camp. Than it would take people years to learn. Self-taught, as far as the learning process goes, you're of course learning by yourself. University, it's not very interactive in most cases. Online courses are not supervised. With us, it's hands-on with live, real teachers, people who are actually doing it. If you're self-taught, well, you're not an industry expert trainer, most likely, in this field anyway. University, well, maybe, but a lot of times when you're at university, a lot of you probably know this, you get taught by people who don't really have experience in the field. I mean, I remember taking a business course from someone, no offense to him or anything. He never owned a business. He never started a business. So he was speaking really more in theoretical terms. Here, you're actually learning from people who are doing it, which is the way that you really want to learn. Career services, well, ours is extensive. It's also individualized for you. The learning content, well, I mean, it's up to you when you're self-taught. And will you be learning the right things? So we're going to keep you up to speed on what's actually, out there in the marketplace right now. So that's why we like to say our curriculum is more market driven. And again, university, it's very theoretical. Online courses, it depends. Yeah, some of it might be up to date. Some of it might not be. Not really much of a community or support when you're self-taught. With us, it certainly is. We have one-on-one mentorships. Our tech support is almost 24/7. University, man, you could have so many people there in attendance. You just can't really get a lot of individualized attention, if any. And how much tech support are you going to get? Online courses, yeah, you're not really getting any of that. With us, you are getting those things that are vitally important for your success. So we have hundreds of graduates. You heard from Omer earlier, one of our graduates. We have hundreds in the IT workforce. And again, folks, I can't, emphasize this enough. It's hands-on, doesn't matter what your background is, and you're learning from people like Ilian, for example. You're learning from, Ahmet, you're learning from people who have actually done it, and they're not just discussing things in a theoretical sense. All right. Well, guys, I know you have a lot of questions. I see a lot of questions there in my peripheral. I have 6 screens here in my office, so I'm kind of shifty here. So I'm looking over there in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of folks asking questions. So I'm going to bring back our founders, Elon and Ahmet, and they're going to go through the Q&A with you. I'll also be here as well. So if you guys want to take it away.
Yes. So there are a lot of questions about scheduling a call and stuff. So normally you schedule a call, and Ahmet will show you how you can schedule a call. We know that a lot of people are scheduling a call, and maybe there might not be an available spot like in the following days. But even if you schedule it for later, guys, still you get the discounts that we mentioned today. So don't forget to mention about the discounts. And also, if there are a couple of people who said that they didn't get the call, it shouldn't happen, but it happens. You can definitely send an email to team@Neotech Academy. That's one of the ways. Or yeah, and of course, then after that, somebody will definitely give you a call.
Yes, absolutely. I can quickly show how to schedule a call and how to do the application, and then we can dive into the questions. So I'm sure you guys can see my screen. If you go to our wonderful website here, you can click on Apply Now button, which will direct you to this page. You can fill it out with your information. I just put some like test data, and you kind of put a number down, your country or state, and then the how did you hear about us part. If you are from Canada, again, please feel free to put down the details here. Please don't forget to put down this code to be eligible. And if you have any other referrals, like a friend or a family member, feel free to put it down too. Once you do that, this will direct you to this page. As of now, as Eric mentioned, we are getting lots of calls, like there's a heavy volume of calls. So don't worry, even if you are seeing this and we will get back to you. Schedule a call. Don't be late. We will open more slots as we move on. And for those, before you guys ask, this discount is going to be until April 1st. However, even if you schedule a call at April 9, for example, you will still be eligible for the discount because we will take care of the application date. But one thing that I want to mention, if you do the application, that doesn't mean that you are all set. You still have to book a call and talk with one of our admission specialists. If you have just the questions before you actually apply, then you can still do the same by simply going to neotech.live/call, and this will direct you to this website. And before I give it back to Ilion, I want to mention one more thing for the Canadian students that we have here, like Canadian prospects, I would say. So with Canada, this is how it works. Canada itself has a great job market right now. However, if you are looking to find a job in US, that's only possible if you have a US work authorization. However, again, if you you yourself can do the search on available jobs, but like Canadian jobs are they are being paid in Canadian dollars, and that's why we wanted to give you an incentive. So your tuition fee, whatever you see here, is going to be in also Canadian dollars too. That's one thing that I wanted to mention.
Yeah. So whenever you may schedule a call, guys, you're gonna be talking to an admission specialist. They will gonna explain you. They're gonna apply you all the discounts. So don't hesitate to mention whatever you saw, the discounts that you saw here. And as I said, the webinar will be shared with you, so you're gonna be able to see the presentation, to watch it one more time and see the discounts, and make sure that you mention them during the call. So we don't want to go into too much details, but definitely mention those things in the call. Another question is, even if you schedule the call earlier, yes, you can mention the things that you saw today, the discounts that you saw today. And by the way, guys, so we're talking about the bootcamp, right? So I want to remind, the bootcamp will start on April 21st. So that is the first day. So if you register and if you have a contract before April 21st, definitely you're going to start on April 21st, okay? If not, then you can wait for the next bootcamp, which will be in 5 months. But for April 21st, you have to schedule a call. You have to write, let's say, make a contract, right? Sign the contract before April 21st. If you decide, and of course you're gonna have all these discounts. If you decide, if you change your mind, definitely, guys, it's not a problem. You're not gonna be charged until April 21st. Again, on April 21st, our first class will start. There will be like the first month. During the first month, guys, of course, you're gonna be charged the first installment, so 665, whatever the price is for the first installment, and then during the 30 days, you can watch the classes. At the end of the 30 days, guys, we're gonna announce this one also in our classes. And I want you to know that if you decide to not continue, if you don't like it, if it's not for you, if it's difficult, stuff like that, definitely you can drop before during the 30 days, and then you're gonna be refunded 100%. So if you until May 31st, if you decide to drop off, you will be refunded 100%. So don't worry about it. And why do we do this one? We do it because we want the people to try it for themselves, to see if it works for them or not. And then if it is, then definitely they will continue. Otherwise, I know that they will suggest to other people, because I know that they will like the bootcamp, but even if it's not for them. Another thing is also about if you want, guys, if you go to our website, also you can sign up for free sample classes. So until April 21st, I strongly suggest you guys to Ahmet, if you can show the sample classes also, please. It's in the website, yeah. So in the website, there you can ask for the sample classes so that you can prepare until April 21st, so that you have a feel even before April 21st. Okay, so just go there, share your email, and then the classes will be shared with you, and you can watch those classes for free until the bootcamp starts. Okay, so other questions?
Let me see. Again, the code for the $50 off is going to is like shared in the chat. You can use that one, which is this guy right here. Feel free to add it. Let me see what type of questions we have.
And the price is exactly the same for Canadian. Like if it's whatever it's in US dollars, for Canadian people, it's in Canadian dollars, and they're gonna look for a job in Canadian market, not in US market. So I want you to know it. So you're gonna look for a job in Canada, and we're gonna help you, right? The same way that we help our our students in US, we're also gonna help the students in Canada.
Yes, and for the tools, again, you only need to have a computer, and obviously it can be either Windows or Mac. So HP, Lenovo, Mac doesn't really matter as long as you have a functioning computer. We have some like minimum requirements. So you can always get more information about it from our team at neotechacademy.com email address if you have any questions. So feel free to ask about it too.
Also, I see Jacqueline, she says that she's under contract until June. So if the bootcamp starts on April 21st, of course, bootcamp will end at, let's say, October, right? So that's why until October, she can study, she can be prepared, and then she's going to look for a job after October. So it's not be expected to start working in May. So that's why, and as Amer mentioned, and all of our alumni, so sometimes it takes you 1 month to find the job. Sometimes it takes you 2-3 months. So depending on how seriously you took the bootcamp, how hard you studied, and of course, sometimes also a little bit luck. So definitely, right, it will take a couple of months after the bootcamp is done, okay?
We have a question about the Linux system. Again, that could be answered, but like briefly, if the Linux system is able to have couple tools that we use, I guess that shouldn't be a problem, but Windows and Mac would be preferable because again, it's easier to use. I'm seeing lots of questions about the schedule. One more time, this is the schedule that we have. This is the full schedule. It's not optional. So on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time, we will have classes. And on Saturday and Sunday, we will have 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. classes. All of them are being recorded, and they will be available right after the class. So even if you miss it, you can always watch it later. So any of them falls onto your busy schedule, like your work schedule and everything, you can always watch them on your own time. I'm seeing some questions about, the schedules and everything. The details will be sent to you once you apply. So once you fill out the application form here and schedule a call, you will receive all these details here. And on top of that, you can join with iPhone as long as you have Zoom. So our classes will be through Zoom. So obviously you can join from your phone too, but it's preferable.
But let me explain that one. When you say join from the phone. So by the way, guys, during the classes, we are, let's say we have our classes, and during the classes also, we want the students to practice and to type together with the teacher. So definitely you'll need a computer, and definitely you're going to do the job in the computer. So just watching the classes as a movie doesn't work. You will learn hands-on. You will learn together to type the code together with the teacher. So it's not something that you can watch by eating popcorns, right? And another one is about the how long do we support you with the job placement? So we will support you with the job placement until we find the job. Why? Because we're gonna get the job placement part from you, right? So we want you to get the job. So since we also are requesting your first month salary, which is gross, by the way, first month, 85% of your first month salary. That's why we will support you until the end, because we want you to find the job so that we get an extra payment, right? So we're being upfront with you. And this one also will be paid with installments. So it doesn't mean that first month you pay everything to us and you don't have anything for your family, but it will be paid in 4 installments.
Exactly. I guess we have one question about the success rate for people above 40 years old. And I would say, I mean, we don't have the specific data, but we had many students who are older than 40 years old, and like they're actively working. And obviously, there is no age limit here, even though that like companies are also always open to understand that you are switching careers. So you have done something before, and this is a new chapter for you. That's why there is no limitation in age whatsoever.
I think the oldest that one of the students I remember, I think he was 65 years old and he was hired. But of course, the older you are, maybe it will be difficult for you to learn, right? So generally people between, let's say 20 and 50, maybe it's easier for them to grab new ideas and stuff. But again, you can try for yourself. And the difference between, not old people, because 50 years old are not old, but let's say people who are older than young generation. The good thing about young generation is that they can grab information quickly, but they don't study hard. But older people, they maybe need some more time to grab it, but they study harder. So that is one of the benefits, right, of being older, let's say.
Yes, and one more question is about AI, if it's going to affect our jobs. Again, no. They're just going to be helpful for us to do our jobs even better. So we are, again, our program is all online. Obviously, we're all located in different parts of US. If you want to, we are going to be having meetups, and please, again, sign up, apply, share your email addresses. And when we do have those meetups, we can also invite you to. And if you want to meet us face to face, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, so during the class, it will be the same as we're doing right now. The class will be live. It will be a video. The teacher will present everything. He will show the information, and the students will be able to ask questions through Slack, which is a tool for communication between a teacher and the student. And definitely also during the class, we have assistants. So a teacher is teaching, but if they have any problems, there are a couple of people who will help students during the classes, right? Those are the teaching assistants. And also outside of the hours, when you're doing your homework, if you have any problems, you're struggling with anything, definitely you can ask your questions and somebody will help you, let's say, outside of the classes. And the last one is our mentorship. So we mentioned about it, but this is a program that we're proud of. So also we're going to have groups of people. Let's say mentors are people who have like 5 years of experience in as a software testers. and they will be having a small group. They will join with them. They will meet with them once a week, and they'll also answer their questions about the market and everything. So there are a lot of questions that you can ask, guys. Definitely, I would suggest you to apply, sign a contract, and then you start the classes from April 21st until May 31st. And then after that, you see for yourself, and then you see if it is good or not for yourself. Okay.
Thank you so much for joining, and please don't hesitate to reach us out. And we would love to see you in our classes.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.